Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Free UFC Bet Picks. Today we are going over the main event for this weekend's fights, UFC Vegas 13. It is Thiago Santos versus Glover Teixeira, a light heavyweight bout. These guys were supposed to fight back in September. Teixeira tested positive for COVID, and then October it was rescheduled. Santos tested positive for COVID, so we're finally getting this matchup here.
Just people need to wear masks.
I miss Fight Island.
Sorry, yeah, Fight Island. Nobody got it. Just wear a mask, people. Even the folks on my shirt have masks on.
Not hard. Anyway, so we're finally getting the matchup between these guys. Thiago Santos, our favorite, at minus 240. He's got a record of 21-7. In the UFC, a record of 13-6. Glover Teixeira is the underdog at plus 190. He's got a record of 31-7, and in the UFC of 14-5. Both these guys have a lot of knockout wins. They're both good boxers, both got a lot of power. Thiago Santos just is the kind of fighter that comes in the first round and just really gets stuff done fast. I mean, he comes in hot every time. Whereas Glover Teixeira kind of takes his time, kind of absorbs some notes of what he sees from the other fighter, like kind of changes as he goes along, but definitely like improves in the later rounds. So here it's kind of just seeing whether Teixeira is going to last past that first round. Santos is going to knock him out that first round. I think if he lasts past that first one, he definitely has a good chance of winning here, but it all comes down to that. So what do you think, Aaron?
I think that's exactly right. Santos starts out super hot. Glover takes a ton of damage in the first round in all of his recent fights. We'll talk about the recent fights real quick. And I think that's exactly right. That's the exact right breakdown. Santos, he's gotten a little more technical recently, but normally he never jabs, never throws a low kick. He's just wild, spinning kick combos, lead body kick, hook combos. He's just very unorthodox, very dangerous. Everything he throws is, pretty flashy and with bad intentions, typically. Last two fights against Jones and Jan Blachowicz, he was much more technical, but we'll talk about it. It's such a great matchup. They're both 6'2", 76-inch reach. They both have a ton of experience, and, Glover's got like 38 pro fights. He's had more fights than Santos has had birthdays. He's 36 years old, but Santos has a ton of UFC experience. Like she said, he's actually tied. So in the modern era of UFC, the unified rules era, Thiago Santos is tied for first with knockouts with 11. Anderson Silva, Matt Brown, and somebody else. I'll have to look. The leader overall since 1996 when UFC was invented. Vitor has 12 total. So if Santos gets a knockout, he's going to surpass all those modern era fighters, and he's going to tie Vitor for the all-time record for KOs in the UFC. It's pretty wild.
Wow.
And as you said, normally it's in the first round. He comes out super hot. So just looking back at their last couple fights real quick, we'll start with Glover. He's got some great wins. Obviously, he had the title shot back in the day. His last fight was really dominant against Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, another former lightweight, heavyweight title contender. Anthony Smith has a great fight against John Jones. You think Anthony Smith must be the second best light heavyweight in the world, right? He gets dominated. Same thing happened to Reyes, right? So I think there's a little bit of recency bias, and we're a little high on Thiago Santos just because he looked good against John Jones, but everyone has the last few years. But so Glover comes out, he's taking a ton of damage from Anthony Smith, ends up finishing him. Split win against Nikita Krylov is, some of the same. The Ion Cutelaba fight, Ion's putting it on him. Then just gasses, and Glover hurts him in round 2 and then gets his back and chokes him out. None of those fights, two fights before that, he loses to Corey Anderson because Corey Anderson out-wrestles him really well. Good job by Corey Anderson. I don't think any of those fights are really indicative of what's going to happen this fight. One that concerns me is a Carl Roberson win. It was like 4 fights ago for Glover. Because the way that Glover took damage is in those Travis Brown elbows. He's got Carl Roberson against the cage. He's got a double under. He's kind of in that crotch sniffing position, folks call it. And he starts getting those down, not illegal, but just those Travis Brown elbows, everyone calls them, as he's trying to defend the takedown, and they hurt Glover bad. Glover wilts. He's on his back. Roberson, follows him to the ground, is pounding him out. And then finally Glover recovers, gets to his feet, and now when he goes for the takedowns, he keeps his head higher. He keeps it in the armpit, and he's not in position to catch those elbows. He ends up taking down Roberson and getting the arm triangle finish. Like, all of that happened in like 45 seconds. It was wild. So yeah, Glover goes in, tries taking him down, gets hurt with those Travis Brown elbows, gets up, finally is able to get a safe takedown and submits Roberson pretty much immediately. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting is that same, 4 fights ago for Santos, he was fighting Eric Anders. And it was in Santos's light heavyweight debut, actually. He weighed in at 203.5. And Eric Anders was trying to take him down, and he hurt Anders bad. It was a 5-round main event, and at the end of the third round, pretty sure, end of the second or third round, Eric Anders couldn't walk to his corner because he was taking those exact same elbows from Santos as the round finished. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. 4 fights ago, they had a very similar, kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, but, the way that Glover got hurt was the way that Thiago hurt the guy. After that, Thiago has a nice fight against Jimmy Manuwa. Jimmy Manuwa is not known for his chin. Thiago drops him like 5 times, I think. But Jimmy kept landing too. It almost made me feel like Santos's power was a little bit overrated. After that, in that fight, it was what I was describing. He didn't throw a single jab, didn't throw any low kicks. He's throwing just wild high kicks, spinning kicks, leading with the body leg, with a body kick, just walking him down, walking Jimmy Manuwa down and just body kick and hooks, right? Mm-hmm. So then he fights Jan Blachowicz, who has much more power than Manuwa. And Thiago seemed like he knew it. He was much more technical. He was throwing out the jab. It was a very un-Thiago Santos type of fight. And Jan had nothing for him. Jan couldn't reach him. Thiago was just boxing, using his footwork, staying distant. That'd be a really good game plan for him in the Glover fight. If Glover gives him any space, which I don't think he will. Glover's going to close the distance. But, finally Jan just got impatient, rushed in at the beginning of round 3 and got knocked out. But it was a change in the fighting style for Thiago Santos. Extremely technical, jabs and kicks, just really clean kickboxing. Great job by him. Yep. Then, he had the great performance against John Jones, of course, with 2 torn ACLs. John Jones makes Thiago Santos look like the second best light heavyweight in the world. Everyone's saying Thiago Santos is going to be the champ. Thiago Santos, future champ. Let him beat Glover and fight Izzy or whoever wins, that fight. I think everyone's still got that Anthony Smith, Dominic Reyes, after they fight John Jones, we think they're better than they are syndrome, that kind of bias. It really comes down to, so you said it very well. We know that Glover's going to, come out trying to get the takedown. We know that Thiago's going to come out guns blazing. And if Glover hangs out in that double under situation too long, Thiago does a nice job of getting off the fence. There's multiple situations where the guy's holding him against the fence trying to take him down. And then just 2 seconds later, Thiago's got him against the fence unloading heavy hooks on him. He does a great job of defending himself, staying tall. He never even really gets put on his butt and pops back up. He just gets against the cage and fights these takedowns off. And a lot of times it wears guys out. It's not going to wear Glover out. I think it might wear Santos out. So we talked about those ACL injuries. He had a long, difficult recovery, physical therapy, walking, with those rails on each side in the physical therapy room, learning how to walk again. And this is a guy that, we know for doing capoeira kicks in the octagon, and just really wild spinning techniques. So you think, is he going to have all that pop on those kicks? Yeah, maybe. But what I don't think he's had is 18 months of wrestling. That's the last thing that I would assume he'd be able to get back into, with those leg injuries. And it's going to be his most important key here, if he's going to stay on the feet with Glover and defend those takedowns. Yeah. So, Glover is our last underdog pick of the card.
Do you have any favorite picks on this?
Honestly, yeah. I don't think it's a great parlay card, really. Romanov, incredibly safe. Chikadze, incredibly safe. I think Brendan Allen's pretty safe, surprisingly, for such a pick'em fight. So normally in the last couple of weeks, the cards have been extremely chalky. I think there's a lot of live dogs on this card. So, the real takeaway is just really, so we know their styles, we know their approach, we know what they want to do. We know that Glover's going to be able to do what he wants to do. He's extremely consistent, extremely predictable. We don't know if Santos is going to be able to do those things he normally does. He should not be a minus 220 favorite, against a really experienced, solid fighter that we know Glover is. Yeah. So it's something of a fade on Santos because of all the unknowns, but it's also because we've seen, we said that Santos does a good job of defending those takedowns, but he spends a lot of time with his back on the cage, and I think it's going to wear him out. So we got Glover for the win.
Yeah. And as far as DraftKings prices, fantasy prices, Teixeira is at 7,400, average points per fight at 84.7. If he does win, it's going to be, in later rounds, might go to decision. And then Thiago Santos, we've got at 8,800, average points per fight, 74.4. He does have a good opportunity. I mean, he's got a track record of coming in hot and getting finishes early. So are you picking either of these guys up for fantasy?
I think they're both great plays. Glover at 7,400, we pick him to win. So obviously I think that's great value at 7,400. This is a 5-round fight and the over-under is 1.5 rounds. People are expecting a finish in this. Yeah. Glover, even if he does start slow and it takes him into the second and third round, I don't think Santos lasts. I don't think this fight goes to a decision. Even if Glover takes him into deep water and beats him later, he's going to finish him in the third or fourth round.
True.
Thiago Santos, he's a jiu-jitsu coach. He's known for his jiu-jitsu. He's mostly known for his kicks, right? But he kind of has a reputation of being good on the ground, but there's not a whole lot of evidence of that. He was submitted not too long ago. If I can find it, I can't recall. He was submitted not too long ago. And I think Glover can wear him out and either TKO him or submit him.
Yeah. I
think whichever one of these fighters you pick, take them inside the distance. It's not even going to get you that much better odds because it's kind of assumed, especially for Thiago, like Thiago by KO, I think is, minus 150 or something. It's still like a favorite pick because there's very few other ways that he's going to beat Glover. So if you like one of these guys, pick them inside the distance for your bets. And I think they're both great, great fantasy plays. We talk about stacking the main event sometimes. Stacking means playing both Glover and Santos in your main event. I wouldn't recommend it here because we're going to see a finish. It's nice in like a Frankie Edgar battle where, two guys are going to strike for 25 minutes and they're both going to rack up points. And you get the winner at 90 and the loser at 70. And that becomes a steal. I would not stack this fight because one of them's going to score really high and one of them's going to score really low.
Yeah, I agree there. And we both have Teixeira in this fight, one of our many underdog picks of this card. Is there anything else we want to go over on Santos versus Teixeira?
No, I hope you guys thought that was kind of a cool trivia question about Santos. He's got an opportunity to take the lead in modern era unified rules knockouts and tie Vitor for the 25-year-old UFC all-time record. Friday, we've got a different trivia question about a different fighter on this card and a giveaway included. Congratulations to Jonathan Sawyer for winning the $25 free bet. He's waiting for the weigh-ins to place that bet. Very smart man.
Yes.
But congrats to him. And on the Friday breakdown after the weigh-ins, again, they're so important. One of the reasons why we did so well these last couple weeks is because sometimes the tough fights to pick, like Jason Witt, Cole Williams, the weigh-ins can make it so easy for you. And there's some fights on this card with pick-em odds. Bavon Lewis, Trevon Giles, who knows who to pick? Well, the weigh-ins could make one of them a no-brainer pick at pick-em odds, right? So at this point, it's Tuesday night. Save your bets. Save your bets till Friday afternoon. You're going to be really happy you did.
Yep, and Friday afternoon after the weigh-ins, once we watch them, we will be getting on here and uploading just a post weigh-in video for you guys, just kind of breaking down how all the fighters are looking. Like Erin said, a lot of these fights, it's going to be very useful to see the weigh-in between the two fighters. So we will get that video out to you guys on Friday. So make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss that. And make sure you tune into our future videos. And thank you for tuning in tonight.
Smash the like Kamzat. I need you to tap that sub like you're Justin Gaethje.
Yep.
And comment like you're Conor McGregor or pick, any one of these melty fools.
Yes. Do all of that.
Yes.
All right. We will see you guys on the next video post weigh-in, and we will be doing our trivia question then as well. So again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys then.